This is another live call-in show, and it's going to be a quite interesting show. We want you to call in and voice your concerns, your opinions, or if you have any questions for my guest, please call in. Our first guest is a gentleman who, he's with the Miami Nation of Indians of the state of Indiana, and I've been trying for about 7 years to get a representative of this group on my show. Chief, welcome to the show here.
Thank you.
I'm glad you had a chance to make it here. You know, we have a lot to cram into this first segment here. The first thing I want to touch on is my favorite hero, Chief Little Turtle. We got to talk about him for a moment, because I think that, in my opinion, he has been more slighted in American history than anybody else that's done anything in America. Tell me a little bit about Chief Little Turtle, you know, your recollections of him.
Well, Chief Little Turtle is one of our heroes and one of our renowned chiefs of our historical past. And up to this date, we have several clans that have family ties into that family clan of the Little Turtle clan. And I think that the historical presence that he has shown here just in northern Indiana says it all. The governor, just in this last year, has given him a new award, which is called the Sachem Award, and it caused a lot of problems with that. And
Wait, problems how?
Well, the Sachem is actually not an Algonquian term. It's a term used for Native Americans on the East Coast, and it was kind of disrespectful to the Algonquin people, the woodland tribes. And the way they wanted to model it after was after Chief Little Turtle, and they used his tomahawk pipe. And they didn't. They made a mistake, and they didn't contact the local Indian groups. And again, the Miamis would have been nice to be notified before they started this. But when they realized that they did something out of place or out of precedence of what they were supposed to really do, and you know, be respectful of the group, then they came to us and said, "Hey, we did something really wrong here. Now we're involved in putting together a new display at the Indiana State Museum in Indianapolis. The commission is actually going to help the governor's office do this and have on display that Sachem Award." And what that is, a Sachem in English, the tribal definition of the East Coast, is an elder or someone of a high spiritual note that other tribesmen can go to for guidance and advice. Not necessarily the term used for woodland Indians, but we're going to try to correct that and do it the right way and kind of help provide guidance to the governor's office.
Okay,
that was modeled after Little Turtle.
All right, you know, as I've been reading, you know, American history, is it just my perception that he has been slighted? I mean, you know, there's movies on TV all the time. We know about Cochise and Geronimo and all the John Wayne Indians and things like that. And from what I've read, Chief Little Turtle was the most fierce, most strongest general that was in America.
Absolutely. I believe he's noted in American history to be the only living, or the only Native American chief that's killed more enemies in one single day with his bare hands. Not something to be proud about now, but yes, he was a very fierce warrior and leader. And I would presume that he had the same thing in history as the other great chiefs. And I always like to use Chief Joseph as an example. As Little Turtle up to 1770 or 1795, the Treaty of Greenville. Yes, he led his people, and we fought for everything we had. And as you follow history in Indiana, you see from that time period, you go through the 1800s, treaty after treaty. You know, again, the man got tired of fighting, just like any other human being would be. And that's kind of what happened in history of all the Native American chiefs. You just get tired of it, and they just kind of.
Well, you know, the Americans and the English, they had that power, you know, that powerhouse. Right. And
finally come up to a brick wall. You know, what do you do?
But you know, but one thing I've noticed is he's been slighted not only in American history and by Hollywood, but it seems as though he's still being slighted today here in Fort Wayne. This past year, or this past October, on the celebration of the Hummer defeat.
Right.
There's nothing at all mentioned in the paper. Of course, I did a show about this. But I just don't understand why. I mean, right here on the inner city of Fort Wayne here, in the Lakeside area, Harmon Street, Liberty Street, right through there, there was a battle that took place, and we never hear anything about that.
Right.
Why would it be to the historians, the museums, whoever is in charge of promoting the legacy of Fort Wayne. What's the problem here? What do you see?
You know, I don't know what that problem is, but I will say, just in the last year, that I believe it's the Daughters of the American Revolution and the Sons of the American Revolution were involved in doing the LeBomb's defeat, which is just west of here a little bit. Another little turtle, a defeat for General LeBomb. I mean, he wiped them out. And they called us and asked us to join in the celebration. And I'll tell you, that was one of the most touching celebrations I've seen. And it was a celebration of history, basically. And you brought together the revolutionaries. You know, we had all the officers dressed, and they had a parade, and they invited us to join them. And we carried our tribe flag and had prayer and just a lot of. It was very touching, and it was right at the site of that battle. So why they don't contact us, I don't know. But that's the first time since I've been chief in 4 years that I've been contacted for something like that.
So the groups, the state of Indiana, they just had to do these things, and then they start the initiative. Then they call you?
Yeah, that's usually how they do it. Because we didn't even know they were going to have some kind of a celebration. So
why is it that they too, it seems as though the Miamis have been forgotten? I mean, case in point, recently, right now there's a total multicultural initiative here in Fort Wayne to put different cultural groups together, and the framers of this idea didn't include the Miamis first.
I don't know. I wished I knew that answer. I mean, I can sit here and blame a lot of entities and the political regimes of the past through this state. I can sit, but I don't know the real reason. We've got a lot of history with our politicians in the state of Indiana. Some of it not being too good, and why they've always pinpointed us as being Indians that want to open up casinos, because that's an American dream for Native Americans. They think that is not the situation for us. I don't know why that they have not come to us for that. It just doesn't make no sense. I would like to have some answers, though.
How have you been able to, knowing all this, and fighting? Because I do want to talk about the fight for the federal recognition, but this will be ignored all this many years. How have you been able to keep that inside of you without breaking windows and turning cars over?
Well, they can take the man's dignity, but we do have our dignity when we are together, and we do it. It's been going on for over 150, 200 years, and it's been going on forever. I mean, in the last 20, 30 years, it's just got nothing but stronger. You can do it out in public, but when you get us together, you're never going to touch us. We'll still be able to operate as a tribe and do things that our culture allows us to do. I just don't know why that they would let, I wish I had those answers, Eric, but I do not.
So, as you know about, what your heritage is and the customs, how have you made it so that the younger people, the younger Miamis, had the same enthusiasm and the same unity as you all have?
That's a tough question, and it's very tough for us to do that for our kids. Again, we have to just put that knowledge out there to them. I have a personal situation where I have a son that he played on our nation drum, and he's been part of the singers, and my daughter dances, and there comes a point, he's 18 now, just graduated, going to school and trying to make something of his life, and he seems to forget. He gets caught up in the society as it is now, and he forgets who he is. And I presume here in 3 or 4 more years, he's going to come back and go, wait a minute, I got to find some more things out about who I am. And that's what I've seen in the young people of the Miamis. They'll go for 5 or 6 years, maybe 10. For me, it took 15 years. I moved to Texas and forgot who I was until I came back.